Hi everyone, Vegas Film Critic here, Jeffrey K. Howard, here to review the new Darren Aronofsky film Mother, starring Jennifer Lawrence, Michelle Pfeiffer, Ed Harris, and Javier Bardem. They didn't screen this for critics. There's a big red flag right there. And it's from Paramount, a major studio. I can understand sometimes smaller films or movies that are like horror films or something. They just don't, it's critic proof, as they say. They don't care what we think. But here was a movie with major stars, a major director, and they were constantly promoting it as this thriller, this psychological thriller. And so I was excited to see it because if you know Darren Aronofsky, if you know his films, from Requiem of a Dream, The Fountain, Black Swan, Pi, who could forget his very first film? I remember seeing that in college. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This guy was a visionary. He really was a true artist. But his films don't do that well. They're not mainstream films. I don't know how he gets away with it, but you know, he's just this unique voice out there in cinema. And so when Mother came along, I'm like, wow, he had all these big stars in it, a psychological thriller. I'm watching the commercials for it on television. I thought, oh, wow, we're going to have some sort of really cool kind of, I don't know, something from Aronofsky. So, of course, they didn't screen it. I don't have the ticket in here, but I went and paid for it, okay? I did it because there's few movies that I will go pay for, and he's one of the directors that will. But before I saw it, I do a lot of conservative talk radio, even though I'm a raging liberal. And they would read, when I didn't see it in time to review it when it originally came out, so I saw it over that weekend. So they were all trashing me, all these conservative talk shows, Alan Stock, if you know who you are, and they were reading, you know, opinions and also the synopsis on it in detail, and they were just all offended. You know, so they're all offended because of the content of what people said they saw, and I'm like, how can you do that? That's just so fascist. How can you, you know, if it's a book or music or whatever, if you haven't even seen it, have an opinion after you watch it, and I'm all for that. If you see it and you hate it, tell me why. That's fine, but stop condemning art before you see it. I mean, that's such a dangerous just a dangerous path that people go down. So I went to go see the movie, and not only did I see the movie, there were like two people in the audience. There were four people, including me, two couples and me. And halfway through the movie, one couple got up and left. And I understand why. I do, because give you the simple basic plot of the movie is that Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem have this country house somewhere. They have these two guests that arrive out of nowhere, Michelle Pfeiffer and Ed Harris, and they just start causing psychological damage to Jennifer Lawrence. She's an expecting mother, and she can't understand why they're there. They just showed up. You know, Javier's character is an author, so he's had this rut where he can't write his next book. He's had writer's block, and now he's starting to feel, you know, he's starting to feel his creative juices flowing again. He can start writing. But all of a sudden, these people show up, and they just literally, the thing that wouldn't leave. Remember that Saturday Night Live sketch with Belushi? The thing that they would not leave. And not only that, they started doing all this kind of mind games on Jennifer Lawrence. I mean, she's like, honey, why are these people here? Why are you inviting them to stay? Why are you letting them? I mean, just you're sitting there in the audience, and you're like, what's going on? So after about an hour into this movie, you start saying to yourself, okay, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I'm going to turn off my logic and just let Aronofsky just give it to me, just 1-2 punch in the face. Not only does he 1-2 punch in the face, he does it in the gut, he does it in the butt, he just beats the hell out of you with his imagery and with his really disturbing images. And it gets really crazy because more and more fanatics show up at this house to where it's just carnage. And I'm not going to go into all the disgusting details. There's some scenes in the movie that are super objectionable, and yes, anti-Christian messages, and they're big time. You know, the whole kind of image. I could sit here and do an hour just on, you know, the imagery and what he was trying to say, and I can see why Christians are upset with this film. I can see why most people just reading the synopsis of, you know, in detail what this movie's about, they won't go see it. So was I disgusted? Yes. Was I titillated? Was that the right word? I was fascinated with this movie. I did. I thought it was fascinating because if you know the director, he's giving you something that makes you uncomfortable, that makes you think, that it does all these different things, gives you these emotional reactions. So as I'm watching Mother, this couple left, I'm like, well, bye, but this is incredible. I mean, this is something a critic like me lives for, to see something that's just so off the wall, so experimental, so personal. And so, I mean, this is a movie where I want to sit down with Aronofsky and just like ask him 15 or 20 questions. And sometimes directors will say, creators will say, well, you figured it out for yourself, or yeah, what did you see in that? What do you think that meant? You know, there's a scene with the baby that people are talking about. There's scenes of carnage and blood and cannibalism and all kinds of, I mean, it runs the gambit of offensiveness. But you know what? It's all in the text of art. It's all in the context of art. And I found it fascinating. I really did. So I'm one of the people that liked Mother a lot, even though this is not the kind of movie that I would recommend to 99% of the audience out there. I don't know. What am I supposed to do? I don't know. If you want to take a chance, if you have delicate sensibilities, if you want a movie that's A, B, and C, beginning and end, this isn't the movie for you. This movie gets ridiculous. And it's something I can't wait to see again at home. I'm sure they're going to send me a screener for it, but I want to see this movie again just to go, wow, look what he's just packing into that last 30 minutes of this movie. You need to see it just for the last 30 minutes. He's a genius. He really is. And it's an amazing film. Go see Mother and then just write me that you liked it or you hated it and tell me why. You can't just do that. You can't just say, oh, I hated it. Why? Why did you like it? You know, that's what it's all about. All right, for more reviews and interviews, surf on over to my website at vegasfilmcritic.com. I'm really nervous about people seeing this movie. What else? If you're watching on YouTube, which you are, or you could be watching my TV show, please subscribe so you won't miss any of my future reviews. And also, come visit us in Las Vegas. We'd love to have you. I'm Jeffrey K. Howard. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.